So, in the next part of our conversation, I would like to come to the India China relationship. You explained why we shouldn't trust China, but there seems to be some progress on solving the border issue. So, do you think after all these decades, at least we can reach some sort of understanding on the border issue? Because there was some statement released, I don't know exactly what it was.
I think anything on the border issue, see, I'll tell you the danger of an agreement on the border issue. It becomes the basis then for all the territorial annexation to be recognized on paper, which then forms the basis of the final settlement. And in that particular area, remember the whole we claim the whole of Aksai Chin. The moment you put it, why is there no official map? Why was there so much confusion about where Finger 3 was, where Foxhole Point was on Pangong Lake? Is because we don't want to put it into a map. Nothing good comes out of in with regards to China putting it into a map. They will not go in for a border settlement period, and even any map you use or agree to will not be agreed to them by in their entirety. They will not stick to their agreement till they get Tawang, because Tawang is absolutely crucial for them. Right? Tawang is not negotiable for them. If you are willing to give up Tawang, then you can look at a full border resolution. Are you willing to give up? I don't think any Indian government can give up Tawang. Remember, even a person like Modi or Indira Gandhi, gave up a few islands to Sri Lanka and secured the border. Narendra Modi did the land swap, the exclave enclave swap was done. Bangladesh benefited from it somewhat, but it was a fantastic job done in order to secure the border, and it was done. It was done. Now, that being the case, how is it that no Indian Prime Minister is willing to give up Tabak?
True.
Right? It's This is where it stands.
Sure. So, what do you think? Do you think the BRICS has been strengthened by Trump's erratic foreign policy? Because, we all know that BRICS was basically just a paper tiger, and now there actually seems to be some momentum since both Brazil and India are under attack.
You see, if your wife is a horrible cook, her cooking doesn't improve just because the meal you had a five-star hotel was bad. Okay, you go order a club sandwich at Taj. It turns out the club sandwich was lousy. The chef put too much salt into the mayonnaise. The chicken in the club sandwich wasn't properly cooked. The lettuce was limp. The tomatoes were tasteless. The bread wasn't toasted properly. And you come and tell your wife this, and suddenly her cooking improves. Her dal actually tastes like something. Her paneer actually tastes like something. No. Irrespective of what Trump does, BRICS is a mutually incompatible association which has little to no benefit for India. There are fundamentally too many competing interests out there. The natures of the economy are too different, not in a synergistic way. Sometimes differing economies can be deeply synergistic. Here it is not. India needs to industrialize. China is industrial. It is not in China's interest to pass off its lower end industrialization to India. Russia is a deindustrialized country. Brazil is too dependent on America to pass its level of industrialization on to Russia. Right? Brazil depends on the American market. South Africa is a footnote, it's an afterthought. Okay, it was just added there to look more inclusive, to have one. Ek zamane mein Hollywood used to have the token black man. We needed the token black man in this. So it was more like a DEI hire. South Africa championed the concept of DEI. They ended up becoming DEI cases in whatever international forums they are, because they're the most irrelevant country in international politics today. Uh, and that's what it is. BRICS is too incompatible. I don't know why people don't call this out more often. BRICS has no future. Do Russia and India have a future? Yes. Can China, India, Russia make a future? Were it not for China's pig headedness and frankly ununderstandable cost benefit analysis that they do, yes. Uh, it would require some work and some effort, but yes. Uh, as part of that equation, would China be willing to hand over some manufacturing to India as part of a strategic deal? But see, India also, see, most of the production there is for the West. So, India also, we have to understand it's not just willingness to transfer that production. Your own regulatory systems, your banking systems, you can't have this year on year change that you keep happening, boss. Businesses don't operate like that.
Mhm.
There is no predictability here. Trump is more predictable than the Indian financial and regulatory system. Okay, if you asked me to choose between, if you said kill a finance ministry Babu and kill Trump and kill a snake, uh, sequentially I would first kill the finance ministry Babu, then I would kill the snake, then I would kill Trump. Imagine Trump at his worst is more predictable than your finance secretary, your joint secretary's finance, your additional secretary's finance, your under secretary's finance, your director's finance, all combined. Okay, what does that say about you?
Mhm. Yes, yes, very poor. So, according to you, the idea of the hyping of BRICS is all too over exaggerated in that sense, because we have some Indian analysts, who I'll be referring to, pushing the idea of a BRICS currency or a basket of BRICS currencies leading to de-dollarization in the world.
So, uh, first, look, de-dollarization ain't happening in my lifetime. Okay, we have examples of global currencies. There was the Roman denarius. They had three currencies. There was the solidus, which was the gold, the denarius, which was the silver, and the sesterce, which was the pesa kind of thing equivalent, which was the copper coin. Uh, till the devaluation of the solidus started, of the denarius started, the trust in Roman coinage was absolute, to the point that even the Persians used to use a lot of Roman coinage, their arch enemy. Just like the USSR used to use the dollar, just like even the French had to use the pound.
Mhm.
So you've had these so called global standard currencies. What happens is you fall for the temptation to inflate, which is to print too much because your debt is too high. What is happening today with the dollar, we have seen before happen with the denarius. We have seen it happen with the pound in response to World War One debt and ultimately World War Two debt. We've seen this happen with we're seeing this happen now with the dollar. A very stable currency over a long period of time is now being devalued slowly, slowly, slowly. Lack of trust, but the process is extremely slow.
Mhm.
It does not collapse overnight. The pound being the gold standard,
Mhm.
losing its gold standard was a 50, 60 year process. It started in World War One. when Britain abandoned the gold standard. And it ended almost in the 50s and mid 60s. It is really when it ended. That is a process of something like 45 years, right? Uh, the dollar isn't going anywhere as long as it is backed up by American high end manufacturing. Understand, it is not debt. Unfortunately, finance wants you to believe that it is debt that gives you credibility. Debt is a toxic, poisonous thing. Debt is never good.
Mhm.
It is good in small quantities. It is never good at the ratio that we've been borrowing these days, because ultimately debts have to be paid off.
Yes.
People forget this. This is just, you remember what happened to Greece during the Greek financial crisis in the
Mhm.
2000s or 10s or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Uh, it's the same thing. What was Greece doing? It borrowed beyond its means.
Mhm.
It's what America has done, borrowed beyond their means, and the only way you can offset that is through inflationary pressure.
Mhm.
This has been done in history. The British did it, the Romans did it, the Byzantines went on doing it, which is why the Byzantine drachma never became the gold standard. I think it was the drachma, I forget. Uh, we can keep doing this, but समझ लो, ना ही तो तुम्हारे लाइफ टाइम में ना मेरे लाइफ टाइम में डी डॉलराइजेशन होने वाला है. Okay. uh, will it start fraying at the edges? Sure. But the belief that Russia, of 130 million people, or China at 10,000, well, it's about $11,500 per capita, or India at $3,000 per capita, or Brazil being where it is, are in any form or way going to engender either the gold reserves or the trust to make it a viable currency. The sum total of four zeros is still zero. It seems like people have forgotten how to add. Because the last I checked, correct me if my maths is wrong, but 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. So we can have all these wet dreams and masturbatory fantasies, but it really doesn't translate. This isn't even a serious line of argument.
Are we at
This
least? Yeah.
these kind of artificial currencies do. The euro is the classic case of it.
Mhm.
The kind of social stress it has put on Europe, essentially equating a highly productive German worker's one Deutschmark to an extreme low productivity Greek worker's one drachma, is ridiculous. A lot of the inefficiency that's crept into it has been responsible for the deindustrialization of Europe, because understand, Europe is deindustrialized. Now, there is
Yes.
good deindustrialization where you move higher and higher up the value chain, and the lower end manufacturing goes where natural markets go towards more affordable labor. But that is not what has been happening in Europe.
Mhm.
It has been that even lower end manufacturing suited to certain parts of Europe became too expensive, even though the human capacity in those countries did not grow to the level that it should have.
So are we at least heading towards a multipolar world?
But isn't that what we've been claiming has been happening over the last 20 years? Last I checked, since 1991, when the USSR broke up, the constant thing we've been seeing is, oh, it's a multipolar world. So were we lying then, or are we lying now? Or are we just deluding ourselves? We have been let's be very clear, we've been a unipolar world. Nobody has the collective power of that the Americans have We can pretend that China is somewhere in the same league. They are not. They are not. Uh, but uh, there is no solution to a delusion. If we live in the delusion that we've been living in a multipolar world, or that we're headed to a multipolar world, congrats. There's always been a very clear number one and a very clear number two throughout history. Anybody who, for a moment, thought that France or Germany could become number one as opposed to Britain were deluded. Anybody that thought that Parthia or the Sassanid Empire could become number one as opposed to Rome and Byzantium were deluded. Anybody who thought that the USSR in any form or way, despite its obviously flawed economy, lower per capita income, and lower population, could become number one vis-a-vis America was deluded. We should never give in to delusion. This is a complaint the French have had with us for a very long time, because the French say we are strategically ambiguous, we are not strategically schizophrenic. But they believe that India is strategically schizophrenic. And that's true because we tend to drink our own Kool-Aid, to use an Americanism.
Well, Abhijit, that was a great conversation covering a lot of uh, broad ranging topics. I thank you for your time, and I hope to host you earlier than what happened this time. So, thank you for your time once again.
Thank you, Prajwal. Take care. See ya. Bye.
Bye.